Hello, Scott Wilkins with Backstage View, and sitting here with Sam Bush.
Sam Bush. Sam, I am.
Sam,
I'm here with Scott.
would you like to interview me?
I don't think I should.
Okay.
We better do it the other
Could
way.
be dangerous.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the album.
Okay.
The album came out. It's an amazing album. I listened to it tremendously. I thought that it kind of reminds me of like the old day albums where there's songs that relate to one another.
Well, it is. And, I'm well aware of the fact that we're in a generation of buying one song at a time. But it still, to me, it was important that songs fit together in a package. And I still think of them as albums. And, sometimes some of what have become my favorite albums over the years, it might have taken me 2 or 3 times to, listen to the whole thing to get used to it, because it was different than the last project, my act of choice put out. And so, if anything, it's always interesting as you follow a group through the years. Of course, their music's going to change from time to time.
Yeah.
So in this case, this time was for lack of a better term on my part, a singer-songwriter record. And so in that, I was for the first time ever, I've been involved in at least co-writing all the songs.
Right.
And so that was what was different about it for me. But the good, but really, it's me and the band with some guests, as kind of that's the normal the last so many. And I've seen one review of it already where I really liked the review because they liked the record, but didn't even mention the fact about the songwriting and stuff, or who wrote any of the songs. So in that way, I think we really succeeded.
Well, I like that not only do your guests come on to sing with you, but you co-wrote with those guests some of those songs.
The one with Emmylou Harris,
Yeah.
we had a notion of, it's when people quit playing their guitars, that's what changed country music. And it's a lighthearted look at it. It's called Hand Mics Killed Country Music. And of course, I think we all know there's a thriving country music industry, so it's doing pretty well, regardless of me making fun. But yeah, I at least got to co-write all the songs. And in the case of Emmylou and I, we wrote that one together. And of course, you always know you want to try to do a duet with Emmylou, and golly, it's a great thing.
And Alison Krauss was...
Alison, yeah, there's an old song called Lefty's Song that I'd actually lost that song for probably 40 years, and I found the cassette of it last year. I'd been thinking about that song for a long time, and I used to write with a man named Steve Bryans from Lexington, Kentucky, and I lived down in the country. And we would literally write by mail. He would send me the lyrics, and I'd sit in my kitchen and make up some music to him. And really liked that song and the story that it told, but I guess it just didn't fit in with the Newgrass Revival, what we were doing at that time. And then I lost the tape. Well, I finally found the tape, and if you remember when they used to say, "Be kind, rewind," well, you should, because I didn't, and I could tell that it was at the end of the song, so I carefully rewound it with a pencil, and then I put it on a cassette player, and as I listened to it, I copied it to a CD, and sure enough, that tape broke as soon as the song got through at the spot where it had been stopped. So, and got it, and thought it should be recorded, and then I asked Allison, who was a fan of the old songs, the old Newgrass Revival songs, and asked her if she, would want to sing on it. And so once I sent the song to her, she agreed. She'd sing on it, and of course, it made it special for me. For sure.
Well, it's also interesting with all the stories that you tell, which you usually have a few stories in your albums. This one, you had a lot more.
Right.
And you also like kind of giving advice. You went from in the old days of being the rebel to now you're like the elder statesman.
It's
the evolution going on there.
Yeah. Well, boy, a couple nights ago they called me the grandfather of Newgrass. I said, wait a minute, I didn't think Newgrass was old enough to have a grandfather. It's an interest. Yeah, I've gone in these last 40-something years from what have I been playing music for a living since 1970. So yeah, I've gone from the kid to there's some that are older than me, thankfully. Del.
This album it was like 7 years in the making. Did it take that long, or you just?
Well,
I saw the documentary, and I don't want to give anything away.
Well, I was just writing with friends. I've been compiling material, and of course, I love to play, and I've been playing all along, and of course recording, and I'm in this recording studios a lot.
Right.
But it just wasn't for my own project, and I love picking, and I just kind of. As far as I've never been good at the idea of I got to get a record out. I need 2 years, but then it got ridiculous.
Are you constantly writing, or when the album comes up, you put the pedal to the metal?
In these last 5 years, I was concentrating on writing with friends, and I had more tunes than we used, and hopefully some of them will be used in the future. I didn't think any of our songs were really not good, but the ones that fit together. And we had recorded some in Florida about 4 or 5 years ago. It was 4 of the tunes we did. And
why Florida? I read about that you go down to Florida when you're living in Nashville. Is it just good studios there?
The beach. The beach.
Oh, it's the beach.
Well, yeah, the Gulf Coast of Florida, around the Destin area. And Lynn and I have been going there we first started going down in '85, and it's just it's 9-hour drive from Nashville, and we've got a lot of pals, got musical friends there.
Oh, I see.
Great band called Dreg Clampett, another one called Buku Groove, another one called Hubba Hubba, and I get to play with all of them when we're down there. And
that's great, because one of my future questions was some of the bands you listen to now that are the newer bands.
Yeah, and then one of the guys in the band called Buku Groove, Donnie Sundel, is a keyboard player, and so he's a partial studio owner. And so we ended up playing in Donnie's studio while we were down there, and the whole band came down. We recorded some, and that, as a result, Donnie is a great keyboard player, so he played on the reggae song on the record called "Everything Is Possible." And
so let me get some other questions, because I know we're pressed for time here.
Okay.
So I know you said you're playing with a lot of different bands. I remember being so happy when you played on Yorma's album, when he put out a bluegrass album. That was great. And then I just met a band at IBMA called Nefesh Band.
Oh yeah,
played with them.
Nefesh Mountain.
Nefesh Mountain Band, and that was really cool. Tell me about playing with them.
Actually, that came about through the studio that I like. The studio I like to record at the most in Nashville, the Sound Emporium. I guess Juanita, my friend that runs Sound Emporium, Juanita Copeland, they were looking to get in touch with me, and they'd seen that I'd recorded at the Sound Emporium, so they came to Nashville. Scott Vestal and I played on the record, and it was really interesting, because these are songs from the heart by them.
Oh yeah.
Donnie is a rabbi, and she's really a firecracker and a great singer. Eric, I guess they're married now. Anyway,
they just were saying they're newlyweds.
Okay, so Eric's a great musician. He's kind of a multi-instrumentalist that he knew exactly what he wanted, and so we just went in and cut these songs, and the very first song we cut was Donnie singing, I'm just a singing Jewish girl, just a Jewish singing girl. I can't remember which way it went. Yeah. And so we set the tone, and of course, quite a few of their lyrics weren't in English, and it was just really interesting music, because they've discovered that their audience really likes the energy of the bluegrass and the bluegrass instruments. So that was the first for that, and it was really interesting. And nothing's better than when you're recording with people and their songs mean that much to them.
Well, another one that was probably one of my favorite albums now, I really like the Frank Sullivan one that you played on. The Family and Friends.
Thanks.
And he tells the story in his show off, and how you guys just went into the other room at one point and played Dark Hollow, but just improvised and to no extent.
We did. I mean, Frank just said, well, we did something else, but Frank had said, you want to just play Dark Hollow? I said, yeah, how you want to do it? He goes, turn on the machine and we'll do it. So yeah, and of course that's great when that occurs, and you never know how it's going to be. But
I love his band is awesome, and
it's a great band, and I trusted Frank and love his playing. He's a wonderful player.
Yep. Then the documentary is a real Interesting. But it's not out yet. Any word on?
It's still being worked
Still
on.
being worked on?
I'm now finding out how long some of these processes take. I guess right now they're in the area of song license, getting the songs licensed,
Right.
and that that takes a while. So they're working through that.
Fortunate
and
to see it. It's
I'm hoping.
really enlightening about everything, and it makes listening to some of your songs particularly. Of course, I can't think now from the circle. So it makes that song
Circles
totally
Around Me, kinda.
a different listen after seeing the documentary.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
I think they did a good job. It's hard to be objective when you're looking at a screen and you see your face and you're in a theater. It's just
and everyone
odd.
talking about you.
It's odd.
All your friends talking
Yeah.
about you, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah. Have I died and I didn't know? No, but I mean it's gratifying, and my friends were very nice to take their time to be part of it. It's talking on camera is not always an easy thing when you're just you and I are sitting together, but when it's just you, it's kind of
Well, Sam, I can tell you on behalf of most of my friends, and probably a whole lot of people out there, it's always so much fun to watch you play, because aside from the tremendous talent, there's that happy attitude. You always have that happiness going, and it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to watch it.
Well, I'm fortunate that when it's time to play, I feel better, and I mean the music makes me feel better, and it's always been that way, and so I feel pretty fortunate.
Well, I know you got a show coming up. We're here at the Ardmore.
Well, thank you.
And it's a pleasure speaking with you, and I can't wait to watch you
We're
in a
at
few
the Ardmore.
moments.
We're going to have some fun.
It's going to be a few moments till you walk on the stage
It
now.
won't be long.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Thanks, Scott.